everybody, how are you doing? This is Madhvi from taroticallyspeaking.com, and today I have a very interesting video for you guys. And of course, I'm going to be using my Universal Weight Tarot deck because that's one of those really awesome decks you can have, especially if you're learning and if you want to take your learning a little bit further. Anyway, this is something that's been on my mind for a long time actually. It's just that somehow I just never got around to making a video about it. So the topic that I'm going to talk about today is cards that have similar, meanings which are very similar to each other, but at the same time there is a subtle sort of a difference. Okay, so just to make my life easier, I'm just dividing these cards up into the suits, and so so it makes it easier for me to pull the cards out when the time when I have to show you. But let me just start out with a very simple example. Right, we all know the Four of Wands and we all know the Ten of Cups. Right, both these cards from a very typical standpoint talk about marriage. Correct? So in a reading, let's say either of these cards show up, and especially if it's the within the context of a question, say to do with a relationship or with marriage, these cards show up and okay, so this is all about marriage, right? But what is the difference? Why is it that, say, one card shows up, not the other? What is the big deal? What is the subtle difference? If both these cards on within the context of that question mean marriage or they mean a happy relationship, really, what is the difference? See the images. First of all, there are two different suits, right? We have the suit of wands here and the suit of cups here, excuse me. Right, so when we see here we have two wands like this, right? This is all fire. This is passion, say from one side, or, you have a couple here, you have two people here, so one person's passion, the other person's passion, joining together harmoniously, creating something really beautiful. But then this is a four. All right, so four is a stability. Four is all about stability. This passion is a fire that keeps burning, that will keep burning, and it's stable and harmonious, and just it feeds on itself, and it's beautiful, and it's really wonderful and happy, right? So this is the energy of the Four of Wands. And now we see this card. We have 10 cups in a nice little rainbow. So it's beautiful inside and out, right? We have two kids here. We have the house in the distance, the husband, wife sort of saying, oh, look, we are so happy. Check it out. Like as if they were posting a photo for the world to see. And the connection here is all about feelings. It's all about emotions that go through a range of like the colors of the rainbow. Each color is different, so these feelings have gone from all these different shades, so to speak, and they have really blossomed and become something really beautiful here. So this is the picture here. Oh, there's another card really that can talk about happy families for that matter, and we have the Ten of Pentacles. And see the difference here. First of all, this is the suit of Pentacles. So we are talking about something that is real, tangible, or has manifested benefits, really. And so we see again a happy family. But what is the difference here? We have the old man, the couple, the child, the dogs, the nice house in the city, right? But we see these subtle things here. There's ships and there's castles, and maybe they are in trade, like they do some kind of a business. That's how it would translate to the modern world, is this is a family that maybe does a business together or has a business, right? Or maybe they are really financially well off. They have done their investment planning really well and they're doing good with their lives. And this is a family that is not just emotionally connected on like this cups family, which is just all about feelings and emotions. Maybe they are doing well financially, maybe not, right? That is not really indicated much in this card. And maybe the connection between them is fiery and passionate, maybe it's not. That's not necessarily indicated. Or if you can look at the suit of pentacles as a suit which embodies all the other suits, hey, maybe it's all in here, plus they're also loaded, right? So this is another sort of example. You can see now all these three cards in different ways indicate, like if we were to just summarize in one word, like or a phrase, it's a happy family, happy relationship, great marriage, great married life. Yes, but there are subtle differences. Okay, there is another example that I want to show. Hang on. And oh yeah, check it out. Right now we have the Three of Cups and the Four of Wands, right? Now, if you look at the Four of Wands, this is also a card of celebration, and this is what these guys are doing too. These people in the Three of Cups, they're celebrating. But here, this party. Now, if you were to just look at this as a celebration or a party, right? This is a party where things are going wild, the Four of Wands party, right? Everybody's probably dancing and singing, and there's basically why, because there's all this fire energy. So it's a very passionate sort of party. It's something where, things are, it's gonna be wild party, right? But then this party, they're celebrating the harvest over here, and it's so, in terms of translating that into what modern, or rather what we would see in a reading, they're celebrating the accomplishment of something, or that they have done or completed a task, and now they're like relaxing with the rewards, and they're all having a drink. So this more, a comparison, like if we were to compare these two, right? This would be one wild party with a lot of singing, dancing, and all of that. But here, the goal is to primarily celebrate the accomplishment of a task, so they're all relaxed and they're all having a drink, right? This party definitely involves drinking. They might be dancing because these guys look like they're dancing, but it's more like an emotional connection. They're kind of bonded with each other on an emotional level, and so maybe they'll drink and sing a few songs, or maybe they'll dance a little bit, but it's not definitely not as wild and boisterous as this one could get. They might be drinking here too with the Four of Wands, but this one, it's definitely drinking party, right? So there's like little bit of a difference. There is a connection here, there is a bond here. Here you can see maybe there are all kinds of random guests in the party who may not really have a deep sort of connection with these two, but hey, they're there, right? So that's the difference maybe you could see here. So even if, let's say, within the context of a reading, if there's a topic about, say, a celebration or a party, and say one card shows up and not the other one, there's a slight difference. What are the cards really trying to say to you in that reading? Why one card showing up, not the other? So that can give you maybe a little bit of information. That slight subtle difference of which card shows up in the reading will actually maybe give you that little bit of information about that event that is going to take place, right? Let's see what other examples are there, right? Oh yeah, this is a good one. We have the Two of Swords, and where is it, the Justice card. I like this example, right? The Two of Swords and the Justice card, right? Both of them on that level are all about making decisions, about making choices, about choosing, about deciding, right? But what is the difference? First and foremost, what I would look at, see here, this Two of Swords lady has a blindfold. The Justice lady does not have a blindfold, which to me says one thing. This lady in the Two of Swords doesn't really want to know maybe the consequences of her, of her choices. She's like, I don't want to know. Please don't tell me. Or maybe she's in that space where she's like, no, listen, let me make my choice with my intuition, with my feelings, right? I don't give me other stuff, don't cloud my vision. Let me choose with my intuition, right? So in various ways, maybe she has restricted her vision so that she can make that choice based on maybe her intuition or her feelings or even her logic. But in the justice card, we see that no such restriction has been placed. And so this lady, she makes her decision after weighing all the pros and cons properly, after seeing everything, even thinking about the consequences of the decisions, even thinking about the circumstances of the decisions, maybe even taking into account the karmic scenarios about the choices that she has to make, right? Now, if we were to even look at the story of the Suit of Swords, we know that right after the two is the Three of Swords. So maybe on a subtle level, the lady in the Two of Swords knows that no matter what choice she makes, it's going to end up hurting something or someone somewhere, right? Maybe even her. But this lady in this Justice card doesn't necessarily know what's coming up. She can only make, maybe she can hypothesize about it. Sorry. And so, but whatever she does, she's ready to act upon it, and this decision takes a long time. So again, here this decision also might take a long time. So there's that common element about the decision, but the difference, I would say, is in the way the decision is made, the way the decision is weighed, way the pros and cons are sort of considered, and that, in my opinion, makes a very subtle but very important difference to the way you would interpret this card in the reading, right? Mm, I have a bunch of examples written here. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, this is a classic. Hang on. We have the Death card and the Tower card. And this is a classic. Anybody who studied the tarot long enough knows that both these cards talk about change, right? So in a reading, and change definitely often is accompanied with an ending, right? But there's a slight difference. This is a very emotional sort of energy here. This Death card is associated with Scorpio, which is a water sign, and the energy here is pretty emotional with the Death card. There's a lot of stuff which is cleansed, which is ended, which is removed before the new beginning can come into play. But whereas in the Tower card, right, while this process is gradual and maybe even slow and all of that, the Tower card, this one is associated with Mars and it's all fire energy. And you can see that the way the lightning strikes and these two fall down from the tower, this is a sudden thing. This is something that nobody probably thought of, that, oh, hey, this will happen, and it just boom happened, right? This is something that leaves a lot of destruction in its wake. This is something that happens and causes a lot of it's a sudden sort of change. So even if we say change, this is gradual, this is sudden, this is something that emotionally can drain you, but it can also cleanse you. This is something that will shock you, shatter you, right? Your the foundations of your existence, or the structures of your life will get changed and shattered, but you're nowhere prepared emotionally or mentally to handle what, because this is so sudden. So yes, although these two may mean change, this change has its own sort of energy to it, right? And so in a reading, which card shows up, right, will alter the way you see that meaning or interpret that meaning for your client. Oh, I have a whole list actually that I have made over here. Okay, and I do want to talk about it. Let's see another thing from the list which I like to look at. We have the Devil card and we have the Eight of Swords card. See, chains tied up. Yeah, what is the difference here? What is the very, very subtle difference here? These two are chained or tied up by their own material desires and they can walk away. This one is tied in this space here. The Eight of Swords lady is tied in that space here by her own thoughts, her own refusal to see, and that's also her own sort of mind limiting her. This one is self-imposed limitation. This one is also in a way self-imposed limitation, but what is the difference? And in both these limitations, actually they can walk away, right? These two can just remove the chains from around their neck and just say bye and walk out of this this devil guy's trap. And this woman can also, realize that, hey, you know what, her feet are not tied, she can still walk away from there and she can figure it out and walk out of her situation. So what is the difference here? This Eight of Swords woman is here with all these swords. These are her mind's thoughts, actually, which have limited her. These are her fears, which are not allowing her to move and making her feel like she's in a stuck position. This is her inability or refusal to see what lies right in front of her, right, which is keeping her trapped. It is her own, thought there, or her own mind, which has kept her there. Now, here, however, in the Devil card, these two are trapped here by their own material desires. You can see that here with the grape and with the fire. Okay, let me pull it up. With the grape thing here and the fire. These are stuck here because of their own material desires. They have chosen to come here. This Eight of Swords lady, maybe her it was her fears and her subconscious that sort of weirdly got her into this place, but these two have made a very conscious choice in the Devil card to get here and to be here. And now that they realize that they are here, what are they going to do about it? Both of them have a way to sort of walk out of here, but how are they going to do it? So there is a difference, really. If both of you, if both these cards come up, say in a reading, and they're talking about being trapped, there's a subtle difference here. The trap is more about your desires and your material wishes and what you want really from stuff, right? And here, this is this trap is out of your own fear and your own mind sort of telling you, maybe you can't do this, maybe you're not supposed to do this, or maybe you're not worthy. All of that, it's your mind sort of playing its tricks on you and meshing you really in your fears. So there's that difference, right? So now, okay, let me just sort of conclude this whole thing with the four aces, because hey, each ace in its own way is a beginning. But then, as you know, each suit has its own energy, and this beginning is different. This is all about passion and fire energy, which sort of makes you want to go do this. This is very logical. This is clarity of thought. This is all about feelings and joy and intuition and happiness that comes from the heart. And this is all about practical material things that have started to manifest and that have given you the real tangible benefits that can come. Now, these are all kinds of beginnings, but in different shades, I would say. But ultimately, they do mean a beginning or a start. So, what I want you to do is, I have a list here, okay, with me, and I'm going to write a little bit of a blog post, and I'm going to put that link in the video description, but so I'm going to put that list in that blog post, right? But don't be influenced by any of this. You have a look at the cards in your deck, okay, and tell me which cards have a similar meaning and what is the slight and subtle difference between each card. The way we looked at it today, what is the difference, what is the similarity, and so how it will affect the reading. All right, so I will, I guess, put your thoughts in the comments, right, either for the blog or in the video, and I guess we can have a lively little discussion about it. All right, I will wait to hear from you guys. Meanwhile, stay good, be good, and play with your tarot cards. See you soon.